What's up, guys? I have a 2014 Ram 1500 with the four-corner air suspension. It's the same as from 2013 and up with air suspension. The rear airbags are definitely a problem area. Every 5 to 6 years I have to do the rear airbags. It doesn't seem to matter the miles so much, at least in Canada where I am. It just seems like around 5 or 6 years and the airbags crack and then start to leak down. I'll show you a couple of areas to start. I always go to settings, and then I go to suspension, and then I put it in tire jack mode just so the pump doesn't turn on and off, and adjust while you're trying to work. Or another thing to do there would be to pull this 40 amp fuse here on the fuse box, that green one there, and then the pump won't come on. Also, if your pump's not coming on from being frozen or something, I would check this fuse here, make sure it's good, because that can go. Yes, a few things. You got to take your fender liner out here. It can be a little bit fun too. I usually push on the edge right around that screw hole to pop it out on that side, and then push on that side to get it loose. But I guess all these are going to need your 8mm socket, and I guess to take off your wheel, a 7/8 impactor wrench, and then I use this pry tool here, clip tool. And then for the taillight, a T25 Torx gets that apart. All right. So then you just have to loosen that nut out and take it off. And that's connected to the air line. And that's the piece that you put in. You have to take this plastic, oh man, come on. Take this plastic piece off, but don't lose this little clip and this little ring in the bottom. And it tapers to the inside. So if all of a sudden you do, it tapers to the inside, that little piece. Here, see if I can. Another hand. Okay, see how these pieces? Make sure if you drop it, you see that taper? That goes inside that piece like that. When you slip on the hose, that line right there. I always cut off, when I take the old fitting off, I always cut off about 1/8 of an inch of a plastic hose just to start fresh. And this is what the old airbag looks without the cover on it. And usually it leaks around one of these where it folds over here. So that's usually what it is. But always you can use soapy water to check your fittings, to make sure it's not that first if you want to go that route. It's just about always the rear airbags, it seems like. So when you're installing them, I always draw, like there's a little bit of a different, you see these, it's thicker on one side and thinner on one side. I always scratch a line where the back was, so I make sure I put it on, because it almost needs to tilt a little bit forward on top. So just so it's doing it, because what happens is sometimes when you install the airbag, if it's extended wrong or whatever, it'll actually inflate like this, and that you don't want. It goes all crooked. So the best would be to pop this off here and make sure that it's straight like that, not all crooked in there. Another thing, you should be able to feel if it's all crooked, but just to tell you that. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. I put the jack on the spare tire and then jack it up just to pop this off so it's free. Then I take it off, put the new one on, and then once it's all connected, I slowly lower that until it's connected here. These clips always want to fall out until you have it in, so you kind of just have to hold it here until you have pressure from the truck back on the bag. Other than that, I guess after that, I always put some airline antifreeze in the system. I never go to the dealer to get it recharged. That's the biggest waste of time and money ever. I've never had any trouble with it. Some guys say you have to get it filled with nitrogen. Well, most air is mostly nitrogen anyways, and just this way it doesn't freeze. So what you do is you pop this taillight out with your two T25 Torx here and just pull it out. You see this with the filter on here. You take that hose off, or that filter off. I put 5 cc's of airline antifreeze down the hose. This is 2.5. Also, I would just do it twice. And I've done that for a while now, for a couple of years, and it's worked great. One time it froze up, and I did that stuff, and it worked flawless after that. So, like I say, I personally love this air ride, but it isn't free, and it doesn't run forever without problems. So I'm going with a cheaper option this time. I went with eBay bags. Last time I did Mopars, they did 5 or 6 years. They're a fortune. So we're going to try with eBay's. These are like $150 a bags. So we're going to find out. We're going to see what I think about them and go from there. And yeah, afterwards, just put your cover back on and jack it up. Before you put the wheel on, I would fill it to off-road 2 and just make sure this is that airbag, like I say in there, is not crooked inside of this cover. So it's straight. You can feel it here if you know what you're doing, or just take this cap off like I said, just to make sure it stays straight when it's working. Then you can put it back together, and I guess if you're having trouble with the front, you could put soapy water on those. Where are they here? Right there. Put soapy water on those connections to see if you got any leaks. Normally, as a rule, the front airbags don't seem to trouble, or at least I haven't had trouble with them. This truck is 2014, like I said, so, and yeah, we drive lots of, and when we do have trouble, it's almost always when it gets cold. You find out you have a shot airbag only when it's cold. Otherwise, it seems to always work in summer, and then the next winter, all of a sudden, if you're going to have a shot bag, if they're old, 5 years old or so, then they'll start leaking as soon as it gets cold. In summer, it seemed to always work, so just to help you out. But yeah, there you are.